Hi, welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. Thanks for looking up, Coy. And Huggy, thanks for joining us. Chris Paul, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good,
Hey,
good.
Sybil.
Hey, hey, Hug, how are
What's
you?
up? What's
What's
going
up?
on?
What's up with you?
Not a damn thing. What's up, Sybil?
And hello, Coy Malone. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How's everybody doing today?
Good. I had a fun time out. Still working my way out to events, and I went to see our girl Dominique the other night.
Oh wow, I know she was
Yeah,
great.
Where was she?
she was awesome in Grand Prairie, Texas,
Okay.
on the Mike Epps tour.
Okay.
She and Jay Farrell and our buddy Rudy Rush
Yeah.
were on the show,
That's
and
a good show.
it is a good show. It is a good show, and it was enjoyed by many. And a couple of I think I'm not sure if it was real fisticuffs, but a couple of arguments broke out in the middle of a couple of sets for Jay
Wow.
Farrow and for Mike Epps, back up in the section there, and
Oh yeah.
we left after the second one
You
started.
see what Will Smith started?
Right. Can't do comedy without a fight anymore.
Well,
Chris, we got to go back to Cabo, bro. You need a tan, bro.
I feel the same way, Chris.
I am
feel
tan.
that is tan.
This is tan for me.
Oh, okay.
You know he out in them burbs.
Yeah.
That's that complexion they don't pull you over, Sybil, right there. So
Huggy, you look tanned. Have you been outside?
He's in
Hell
DC.
no.
That's not tan. That's pollution.
that's
He got you back with that one.
all right. Thank you for keeping score, Coy. Coy the one start fights at school and shit. Got you back with that one. You got to come on.
Well, come on. What you got?
Sybil,
heckler.
Sybil, I know you got a lot of topics today, but please tell me you're covering that runaway convict in Alabama.
We are covering
Oh,
that.
good.
Yes,
I
we
haven't
will
heard.
cover that. We will cover that.
Me
Oh,
neither.
well, hang on, because there's a bit of intrigue there regarding prisoners and their keepers. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, did you all have good weekends? Anything going on?
I hung out with my family. Ate crabs.
Oh, nice. That's a good weekend.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know my
Huggy's
sister
knows
invited.
all the crab spots.
I didn't know my sister invited more family. She invited. I'm like, you know your mom and niece. I'm like, why you invite all them people? So I'm literally counting the crabs. I'm like, okay.
Hey, crabs are
But
expensive.
but
Either way you look at it.
I know it was
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
And it's funny that we can even have a conversation about getting a bunch of people together to eat crabs.
Okay.
Especially Huggy was paranoid about the COVID.
Right.
Now he's like, hey,
Nah,
I'm coming.
man. Hey, bro, they had the mask on the crabs, bro.
Well, we wore masks to the concert the other night as
Did
well.
y'all?
Yeah.
That's good.
Not
Was it?
everybody did, but it wasn't really masked up. But I didn't have a problem wearing
Yeah,
my
Sybil, you
mask.
let your guards down, Sybil, because you was one of the ones too.
I was, yeah. So I'm slowly but surely getting out and about.
That you keep your mask with you. Right?
Yes, at all time. Coy, how about you? What's going on?
Just another interesting weekend of working, which I'm finding joy in as I pace myself, deciding to work multiple jobs to, pay bills and support myself. And I don't know, it's very interesting, but I am happy to report that one of my jobs is offering me a full-time position as one of their cooks at a corporate headquarters. And it's at the rate that I want. That was the important part.
So
the
So you're leaving a tree house.
never. No, still gonna kick it at the treehouse, but
Tree
it's at the rate that I want.
But when they agreed to the rate you want, then you're like, damn, I should have asked for more.
Maybe, but this is a rate that they agreed across all of their accounts because they have multiple accounts at different, corporate offices and stuff like that, which is a win for everybody that's coming on board. So now I'm going through the hiring process so I can get paid this great rate plus benefits, which also means
nice.
paid holidays.
So are you getting rid of some of the other jobs you was working?
Yeah, that was
now
my
that
question too, Hug. And now that you
Yeah.
have this full-time
So
position,
you're getting rid of like about the rest of your
I know.
other 4 jobs?
Well, we'll see. What I started doing was something that I incorporated before, which is breaking down a budget and not just saying that, hey, this is what is due every month. I break it down even further and say, this is how much I need to make per day. So that's going to help me determine if I can get rid of a couple of jobs.
gotcha.
If I
That
can do that
sound real
comfortably,
dope
then yeah.
boyish. Sound like a dope boy. I'm making this a day, okay? And
Well,
I'm
you know,
out.
I was a 7-year trapper in the strip club, so had to learn from the drug dealer.
Okay.
Who was it?
Okay.
I know that took a left turn real fast. Ooh.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been a stripper?
All right.
Or a
So
trapper.
let us
Trapper.
move on to
I really wasn't
to
one. I just
the-
stood
the
by
re-
the bar.
let us move on to the return of our show that seems to have gone off the rails here.
Off the rails.
It's now time for us to discuss the What You Need to Know newsletter. That wasn't a part of it, by the way. This is our daily Monday through Friday newsletter. Please go to SybilWilkes.com. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. It's absolutely free. And give us your name and your email address, and it'll be in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Coy Malone, you are up first talking about a white Kentucky middle school student charged with choking another student who was Black.
Yep, here we go again. Kentucky once again. If this is how the school year is starting out, I just have a feeling, or this is how it's ending. I have a feeling we're gonna see a lot more stories resurface once school is over and over the summertime, unfortunately. So this happened on April 22nd. There was a middle school student who was recorded in a video that's now gone viral on social media, choking a Black male student until he appeared to lose consciousness. And there are other students standing around cheering and yelling racial slurs. They're saying it's not clear who was saying the racial slurs. However, now this middle school student is facing charges of 4th-degree assault and felony strangulation, because these charges have been filed against the student. Now, the names of the students haven't been released because they're juveniles, they're minors. But the case
School indicates that, yeah. Wow.
Middle school kids, right? But it's going to be handled in the juvenile court system. And detectives are now investigating to see if there are other videos circulating about this incident, so they can, make another determination about this. But it's very unfortunate because there are so many different cases going on within this school district alone. The victim's sister also talked about experiencing racist incidents in the same school system while she was a student. And she also talked about how their father, who just passed away just before this incident occurred, how he talked to them about racism, and how he even scolded her for jokingly calling her brother the N-word. He was like, no, we don't, accept anything like that. So I don't know, in a school system in a state where that champions critical race theory, here you are with a child that thinks it's okay to choke out a Black student until he passes out while calling him whatever name he referred to him. I don't know. I just happen to think that these are parents that are teaching their kids this stuff. And it's just sad to see that. And I don't understand why he's not being charged with a hate crime.
And let's be honest, he's a middle schooler. They're taking him through juvenile court. So what are they really going to do to this young kid? Whatever they do to him will be nothing compared to the lifetime of trauma, emotional trauma, the Black child is going to have now.
And these other kids, and what role will they play, or what will the authorities do to these kids who stood around and laughed and watched this happen?
Right.
Exactly, because I remember a rule when I was in middle school called bystander battery that you could literally get charged for if you watched and instigated a fight but didn't alert authorities, or if you didn't try to do anything to stop it.
Yeah, what happened to if you see something, say something? Just like, and which is something I never
said something, all right. But
yeah. But Coy, I never heard of that in the school. So you had that was a rule of law in your school. Was that grammar school, high school?
That was in middle school. Middle
Wow.
school. And actually, I did attend middle school, partially in Georgia, in the suburbs. And that was literally, they had a signed rule book saying this is bystander battery. And they drilled it in our heads so much so that we were afraid to watch fights if they did happen, because we're thinking we're going to get carted off by the police. That's what they pretty much said could happen if it got that serious.
So I'm wondering, with all of the conversation, all of the talk about parents, especially white parents, not wanting their kids to be traumatized by what happened in the past, is this something that they would not agree to these days, in saying, you can't hold my child responsible for something they watched happen? If they don't want their children to be traumatized by talk of racism and Civil War history and slavery.
They never said they have a problem with Black people being traumatized by anything in the past or present. They just don't want their white children to be traumatized by it.
We're not included in that conversation.
Right. If you own a dog and your dog bites somebody viciously, it is the owner of that dog who is going to face criminal charges. I know children are not dogs, but we raise them. We're supposed to be teaching them right and wrong. I believe that penalties need to come down. You can't do anything to that middle school kid. He's not going to go to jail or anything, but you got to drop the hammer on his peoples. Yeah. You got to drop the hammer on his folks.
And like the kid accused of shooting up the school, what was it, in Michigan, and his parents were charged as well for aiding and abetting. And so they're all in prison together, right? I mean, well, not in the same circumstances, but
even Rittenhouse's mom didn't even get in any trouble, did she?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, she drove that fool.
Right.
And dropped him off like it was a field trip.
Right.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. And I'm just wondering what the next step is in all of this madness as we continue to watch this whole situation, our country, in effect, just swirling the drain there.
And just like we talked about Chris Rock getting slapped, part of his trauma is like this young man's trauma, this young boy's trauma now is that it's viral. It'll always be there. It's always a chance of somebody saying, no matter what age he is, hey, that's that kid that got choked out. And
he'll always be known as that.
Or he'll stumble upon it accidentally on social media. So then he has to relive it all over again.
Post-traumatic, yeah.
And they did mention that they were looking into changing schools and also pursuing legal actions with this. So,
I wonder what 4th degree assault and felony strangulation, what that would bring. This is beyond the pale. And
well, if we know 1st degree is the worst, so 4th.
Right. So how far down the chain is this? I just want to remind people in Kentucky, you guys do have important elections coming up in the midterms, and especially a Black man who is running for the Democratic nomination. His name is Charles Booker. And he is play hard, work hard. And he is hoped to be running against Rand Paul in the general election in November. Just trying to keep.
Well, we know what his theme song gonna be. So.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. All right, let's move on in the What You Need to Know newsletter, and I'm very proud of this. What my company Yossi Media is doing, and we announced this in the newsletter. This is a new program called HBCU Bridge, and we are working with the Sports Video Group, or SVG, and my partner and business partner and best friend Yolanda Starks and I are working with them to enable students at historically Black colleges and universities to start their careers in sports broadcasting and production. And it is a wonderful opportunity. So as we say, this bridge now is from what Tom Joyner has done in keeping students in historically Black colleges and universities. And now the bridge is to take them to the next step, to the next level for those who are interested in sports broadcasting and production, to take them, to enable them to get paid internships and in some cases, in other cases, full-time and part-time jobs by working with a number of sports organizations and companies that SVG will be bringing all of this together, and we will be helping them find the students at HBCUs to be a part of these programs. And so it's really pretty exciting. I'm very excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very excited and very proud of that. We will be launching the website next month. And this will enable people it will enable the professional businesses as well as the students to get more information. And as we start this with the hopes of the fall semester and students being able to get into these programs in the fall semester. So stay tuned, and we'll keep that. And stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep you up to date on that.
And look out for me and Huggy's applications.
Chris Paul, I thought of you, and as we have been talking about this, and I and your love of sports and all of this, and I think that you will be a wonderful source for us as we prepare these young people for the sports broadcasting world as well as sports production. So. Also, we are also talking, Coy, about the deferment of student loan repayment that continues through the month of August, while President Biden's decision remains in limbo. What's the decision? How much is he going to lop off of that money that students are having to repay once all of this gets back into, I guess, normal ways of doing business and paying off our student loans? So listen to this, you guys. Check this out. $1.75 trillion owed in student loans, almost $2 trillion. 1 in every 8 Americans are carrying student loan debt, and there are 43.4 million borrowers. That's a lot.
That's gracious.
That's crazy money. And a lot of progressives especially are putting the pressure on President Biden to cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt. What the president has been still kind of in that area of $10,000, canceling $10,000 in student debt. That's nothing to sneeze at, obviously, but when you think about the amount of money that people are still owing 10, 20, 30 years later. And now we're looking at generational debt, because not only are parents still paying off their student loans, but now their children have come out. Right. Exactly, Huggy. And so this can make a really big difference generationally. And we are hoping that the president will continue to put that number a little bit higher beyond $10,000. I dare say that something has to be done before the November elections, because he has lost a lot of support of younger voters and probably their parents too, as this decision kind of still hangs in the balance.
Right.
I've seen a tragic story on Twitter in regards to student loans. A young woman whose mother just passed, and her mother was paying off student loans for years. Lied to the daughter and said that this is what she was doing and how much she owed. And, and the daughter was even helping to chip in. When the mom passed, she found out that she, in fact, owed hundreds of thousands of dollars and not tens of thousands like she claimed, and found out that she actually hadn't been paying these student loans because she was, just trying to meet her needs with money. So she said, my mom died in debt paying student loans that are still owed now.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Wow. That's a sad situation. That wasn't the kind of generational debt I was thinking about, Coy, but that's an incredible, that's a sad situation. That's very sad. And it might not be uncommon.
Right.
There are a lot of stories on social media. Like I just saw one that some guy was tweeting about how his wife has been paying off her loans for 14 years, and she's paid is interest. Mm-hmm. Like her initial loan is still the same number.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely right, Chris. And that is the sad truth for so many millions of people.
And then you have people like Elon Musk that is like, yeah, I can cancel world debt and blah, blah, blah. Well, here's a breakdown of what you need to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Ghosted.
And $1.8 trillion may be even a bit pricey for you, Elon Musk, but you could certainly make a big dent in that debt if you would take some of that money you're going to pay for Twitter, or that you are going to pay for Twitter and
cash
and help that. Yeah. In cash. And
maybe also Joe Biden could defer the billions of dollars of loans black women made to brothers, and then never heard from them again. To
Shut up, Chris.
help him pay his car note, then they never heard from the brother again. How many billions is that?
I was thinking of the tax breaks given to billionaires by the Trump administration, Chris, but you brought it down to the most common denominator that many of us can really identify with.
That's called the CPP loans.
All right, so that is what's going on.
They know when to ask for the money too, don't they? Right when your toes are curling.
Oh, you're talking about the toe curler request, bro? Right at the top.
Right.
That's why you got to uncurl them toes and grip on that bankroll. You know it's bad when you got your wallet in your hand, Chris.
It's now time to move on.
Give
to
me
our
my
question
money back.
of the day. And our question of the day is a lighter one, obviously, although that discussion was pretty light right there, although it pains some of us to hear it. The what's really going on question of the day is in regards to National Teacher Appreciation Week. Tell us about the teacher or teachers that left the greatest impression or impressions on you. Give them a shout out, and let's pay homage to those people who have stayed in the classrooms or done duty from their homes during COVID, and those that went back and are still facing the possibility of COVID exposure, as well as other inequities in the school system. So who would like to go first in talking about a teacher that made the greatest impression? And we'll kind of go around if you have more.
I'll do one. My math teacher in high school, Mrs. Cheeks, she was not only a great math teacher. I wasn't a great.
She was also a great stripper.
Give it up for the education stylings.
Miss Cheeks.
You're going to be really upset when you see how the story ends, Huggy.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Chris. I apologize.
Not only was she a great math teacher, I went to high school in Columbia, Maryland. The suburbs of Columbia, Maryland, and we're talking about in the 80s. She decided, I'm going to put together a group in this school for Black students. And she made her classroom after school a safe place for Black students in the suburbs in the 80s to all get together and free to talk about any subject, anything happening in school, anything happening in the news. That was unheard of. Right. And people were upset about it, but she did it anyway. And now, all these years later, which is so crazy, it turns out her son is now my pastor at my church. That's
Pastor Cheeks' mother.
It's Pastor Cheeks' mom.
Hug, you okay? Let the church say amen on Pastor Cheeks and his mama and her educational stylings.
Now, I know Pastor Cheeks is big on forgiveness, but he's not this good. He's not that holy to let this slide.
I could never go back to church, bro.
Not that you were going anyway.
I didn't know that was Pastor Cheeks' mom. I do know Pastor Cheeks.
Is Mrs. Cheeks still with us, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
I didn't know that.
And here's the crazy thing. When you look at what they're trying to do to classes today, to schools today, and take away the ability of great teachers like Mrs. Cheeks to have discussions, to talk about these things with their students. That's totally removed.
She had great courage, because all of us need courage in our lifetime at some point.
And great teachers change your life. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah.
To be able to do what's right for yourself and people you care about, and not worry about everyone else's reaction. Think of how many things people don't want to do because how other people are going to see it or how they're going to react to it. No, she knew there would be scrutiny. She knew people would be like, what are these Black kids? You know, that's weird walking by her classroom and you look inside, there's nothing but Black people after school.
Right.
But she did it anyway.
Yeah.
She did it anyway.
But that's when teachers gave a damn. Not that they don't give a damn now, but
now the ability to extend themselves to kids is severely limited, right?
The teachers don't even turn their heads to write on the chalkboards no more.
They can't.
Now I got to mention, it was only one meeting and they fired her, but still, it was a very impactful thing.
Worst thing in the world to turn your head, get hit by a stapler. But great teachers will change your life, man. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
I had so many teachers that
So who comes to mind first, Hug?
I mean, hell, he's got 11 years of high school to pick from.
and that was homeschool.
His teacher quit. He made his teacher quit, and he was homeschooled.
I got put out. Me and my father got put out at the same time. Put out me and the janitor, Chris. I had Miss Cook, who was an English teacher. I had Senora Baum. I had Miss Burnett, Mr. Burnett. I had Miss Turner. I remember all the great teachers I had.
So who was the first one you mentioned?
Miss Cook, English
Okay,
teacher.
so that was
high school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Miss Holmes, Miss Ferguson. She was tough, but I mean, I had great teachers.
Well, let me
because
ask
I
you
played
guys-
a lot. I was
So that's what I wanted to
cut
know.
up. I was a
Yeah.
cut up in school, but I
And-
finished my work first, so I could cut up.
So did they recognize your talent, Chris
Oh, yeah.
and Huggy, and encourage
I
that
had a
in the
music
classroom?
teacher, Mr. Brown, who used to let me just take over the class and cut up. I could name I was a good student.
They didn't know Huggy's true talent. His true talent was not known until lunchtime, when he would spend the entire lunch hour roasting cats in the lunchroom.
Yeah, I did brush up on my skills doing that. So.
All right.
I was a pretty good roaster.
I heard about it. People
Did
told me,
you?
oh yeah, he's a legend. He's a
I heard
legend.
Dean Martin wanted to come back and hire you.
You heard about that?
Yep, absolutely. All right, young Coy, as we move around the board, who would you like to shout out as a teacher that was a great inspiration?
Well, I have a few, and I'm gonna make it real brief.
That's not possible.
Yes, it is. Watch this. Okay, so
That's a sinister ass laugh too.
Watch this. And that's not a Coy laugh.
So I had a teacher in the 6th grade that recognized that I have a brilliant mind. Before then, all of my teachers were white women teachers. They treated me terribly. I would finish my work early and I would just talk. I would try to find something to do, help students. And the teachers didn't like that. They would make me sit next to them. They would give me F's in conduct, all kind of stuff. This teacher in particular, her name was Mrs. Heyer. In 6th grade, she said, "You have a very brilliant mind and we don't have enough work for you. We need to place you in advanced classes." And she spent the whole year working with me, giving me extra work until she helped me find a magnet program that I could go to for gifted children. And that kind of changed my perspective on school, because before that, I was just treated like, well, the black girl that talks too much. The black girl that got
just a black 20-year-old that talked to you.
This is a black girl that talks too much. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go through the long list of things that happened, but I kind of understand a lot of kids that talk about how their teachers treat them bad and these things that go on with them that are it creates psychological damage. I had certain things like that happening by white teachers. And I didn't have teachers that understood me because I didn't have teachers that looked like me for a long time.
So was Mrs. Heyer black?
She was a white woman.
Okay.
And the only one that I feel like treated me fairly. And then after that point, when I did go into the magnet program, I was in a school with black teachers. And shout out to Mr. Seda.
Hang on, because we have people who want to make their suggestions too, of those that had the greatest impact. So Yolanda, if you'll give us those, and then we'll come back, Coy, and we'll go around the wheel again. This is Willie Meekins on YouTube, said this is Wanda Meekins, and I remember my 1st grade teacher, Ms. Bryant of Stevens Elementary. In high school, Mr. Ratner inspired me to become a watercolor painter once I retired from teaching.
Wow,
That's really cool. I'd love to see your
awesome.
work, Wanda. And that was Miss Bryant of Stevens Elementary. I don't know what city or county that was in, but that is great. Shirley Ann Tony Davis on Facebook said, my favorite teacher made a great accomplishment with integration in Oklahoma City. Nancy Davis, my home economics teacher that broke the barriers at Oklahoma State University and obtained her master's. And last but not least was Mrs. Lillian Jones, who broke the barrier at Oklahoma State. She was the first black teacher to teach there. That is awesome.
That's big.
That's huge. Yeah, those are our little known black history facts right right there, folks.
Oh, we need to
Absolutely.
publish that.
Trina Jackson on Facebook said, Sylvia Carson, my algebra teacher. She passed away the following school year of cancer. I hated math, but she made it interesting and easy to learn. Those are the ones.
See,
Those are the ones.
always
Oh,
remember your teachers, good
Yep.
teachers.
Yeah.
That's why Abbott Elementary resonate with so many people.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Chris. I mean, Tuggy, that is absolutely right.
But I thought of something real quick when Coy said how her previous teachers were writing down bad things about her conduct and everything. Remember the story we did a couple months ago about this? They did a study and found out that doctors were leaving all these negative reviews of their Black patients.
Yep.
And it always stays in your file. It was saying that we were high strung, we were angry, we were, all that stuff like that. That's what the grown doctors are saying that about grown Black people. Imagine the things being written
about
in the folders of students by white professors, by white teachers. Imagine the things that are horrible things about your children they're writing, and they don't know what they're talking about.
They just miss it.
If a kid, one Black child questions them, all of a sudden that kid is angry or that needs discipline. I mean,
or needs medication.
Right.
No, yeah, for sure.
Are parents allowed to request the folder?
They should be able to. That's a good question. And if anybody knows in their school district or in their school itself, if parents are able to look into the folders and the files of their children.
Right.
What, Huggy?
Now I'm laughing on an episode of Abbott Elementary. The principal was keeping a file of the kids based on how good their father looked.
The woman that plays that principal, she is brilliant. She is the whole cast is though.
Yeah.
The whole cast.
Watch that show.
Coy, you got to binge it if you can. I think it's if it hasn't come to the end of the season, this is almost it. But it has been renewed for a second season. It is absolutely brilliant. Quinta Brunson is the creator and the star of the show, and she is
hilarious.
Yeah. All right, Coy. So you were mentioning some other teachers. Coy.
Say that again. My
Coy, she didn't say binge it right now. She turned the TV on.
You were mentioning some other.
And she said she used to finish her work first.
Yes, I was shouting out at my high school. I went to Southwest DeKalb in Decatur, Georgia, one of the greatest high schools. And I believe not only because of the musical program, shout out to Mr. Seda, shout out to Mr. Don P. Roberts, who is still a great friend of mine, Mr. Keith Saylor, Mr. Thomas, but also all of the teachers there, majority are Black. And I would say 99% of them graduated from HBCUs.
Nice.
And that was beautiful.
So did that encourage you? Did any of them encourage you to go to Jackson?
Yes. Most of them at the time were graduates of Florida A&M. A lot of them were also in fraternities and sororities. And they started similar clubs like that for us in high school. So we had the opportunity to kind of participate in a similar culture and see that. And then they created a scholarship fair for Black schools and universities. Wow. So that's how I was able to get my foot in the door. And that literally changed my whole perspective on what I wanted my collegiate career to be. I wanted to go to a Black school, and I thank them for that. Because had I not gone to that school, I don't know, I could have had a totally different experience. Different experience.
For sure. That's awesome. That's a great shout out. And I want to shout out my first teacher, my mom. And also I had it was really weird. Every other year I had a challenging year. So third grade, when I started at Morgan Park Academy, was a challenge in that, there were only 3 Black kids that went to that school that year. And then in 5th grade, it was difficult because it was right after my dad died, but I had a wonderful teacher in the 5th grade who really encouraged our creativity. And that was Mrs. Hershenhorn. She's a wonderful woman. Yeah, Hershenhorn. And she, I believe now, is a children's book writer. And so, so that's the shout out to Mrs. Hershenhorn and all of the teachers who challenged me at Morgan Park Academy. Yolanda, you had another person you want to. Kimberly Jackson on Facebook. Parents have the right to view the cumulative record due to the FERPA Act.
Look at Kimberly Jackson.
Come on, Kimberly.
Yeah.
I'm curious that they won't just show you their academic record; they'll actually show you notes written about them. That's interesting.
That's really interesting, and
Which means they won't write it down in there anymore. They'll put it somewhere else.
right, yeah. They'll
And
put
also-
it. They'll put it in the teacher's lounge so everybody can take a look. At it.
And also, I want to say I love the positivity of this entire segment. But one day we got to do it again and talk about the worst teachers we ever had.
We will do that, and Chris,
The worst.
in Chris Paul fashion, we will do that. I promise.
Let me know in advance so I can
Okay.
get them to watch.
But cheers to those who made such a positive impact on our lives. We really thank you. All right. Let's move to topical news now. And with that, let's talk about these comedy dates of one Chris Paul and Huggy Lowdown. I believe this month you have the DC Improv Comedy Club coming up.
Yes. What's that date, Huggy?
26th through the 29th, DC Improv. Get your tickets. Where, Chris?
DCimprov.com. And hold on, we just had a new one added to our calendar for June. We're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina for what day is that?
June 18th.
That's the special 3 p.m. matinee TJMS show listener show.
For all the teachers that used to be in our lives.
The matinee at the Charlotte.
It's called the Matinee Curriculum Comedy Show.
That's funny. That's funny. So I have 2 dates for you guys, the 26th through the 29th of May, and then June 18th, the Comedy Zone matinee for teachers and others of the Tom Jordan Morning Show.
Yeah, there's some other dates too, but
Okay.
we haven't got deposits yet, so
Oh, okay. We'll hold off on that.
we do not mention it until
Okay.
We
Speaking of comedy and great comedy, great reviews for both President Biden and Trevor Noah at Saturday's White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Stuff.
Anybody watch?
I've just
saw
seen highlights of it. Yeah, clips.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah killed it.
Trevor Noah killed it. And can I say Joe Biden did a pretty good job too. Yeah, I was
That's the first time I seen Joe Biden all year.
Well, he came with it. Among the things that he said he poked fun at the journalists, of course, because that's what it's all about, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He poked fun at Republicans and Rudy Giuliani, even poked fun at himself. And one of the greatest lines that he had was about Fox News. He said, "I know there are questions about whether we should gather here because of COVID. Well, we're here to show the country that we're getting through this pandemic. Plus, everyone had to prove they're fully vaccinated and boosted. So if you're home watching this and you're wondering how to do that, just contact your favorite Fox News reporter. They're all here, vaccinated and boosted, all of them."
Yeah.
And that was a good line. It was a good, he had some good moments.
Yeah, he had some good lines.
Yeah.
And Trevor Noah was great, but what's so amazing is the video clip of him that is the most viral is not even a joke.
It's not.
It's his challenge to the American press.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He really he earned praise, as you said, Chris, for his jokes, but really what has become viral is his challenge, as you described it, to those of the working press. And a lot of people are calling it powerful, as he used his speech to challenge journalists in the U.S. to make use of their unique position to hold those in power to account. And speaking to the room, just filled to the brim with those in power, he used his closing remarks that said, "If you ever begin to doubt your responsibilities, if you ever begin to doubt how meaningful it is, look no further than what's happening in Ukraine. Look at what's happening as journalists are risking and even losing their lives to show the world what is happening. You realize how amazing it is in America. You have the right to seek the truth and speak the truth, even if it makes people in power uncomfortable." And then he said,
if they put you in Facebook jail.
And he said, "I stood here tonight and made fun of the president of the United States, and I'm going to be fine." And then he looked over at Biden and said, "I'm going to be fine, right?" And so, I mean, it was a really good show. I haven't seen one that good in a long time.
Right, because they banned it. And plus, he was addressing the elephant in the room. There's
Yeah.
so many of them
Oh.
on networks of disinformation.
Or there are American journalists who, through their reporting, find out crucial information.
Right.
Hello.
Horrible things being done by
And they-
powerful people, and
and
they
they hold
sit
it.
on it so they can
For
write
their
a book.
books. For
Yep.
their books.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I was watching The View, and they were talking to the guys who wrote the New York Times, from the New York Times, wrote the book about that, all of the tapes that are coming out about Kevin McCarthy. And so they were asking them, can you tell us who, now that the book is out, and can you tell us who? And they refused to. But, certainly, how long did they have this information?
Right.
How long did Bob Woodward have the information on Donald Trump and what he knew about
and
the
Bob
virus?
Woodward,
Yeah.
you a respected journalist.
Yeah.
Come on,
Mr.
man.
Watergate
Yeah,
himself.
you Watergate, now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine if he had done the same thing with Watergate. If they just sat on the information to write a
Right.
book for later,
Exactly.
it would have been after Nixon's term.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just a reminder, young Coy, as a resident of Georgia, but I'm sure you know this, early voting started today as people get ready for the midterm primaries in the states of Indiana and Ohio tomorrow. You can already go to the polls in Georgia, and we know how important Georgia is in all of this. They are ramping up for several highly consequential elections in the state. And primary day is May 24th, but early voting, as I said, begins today. And Coy, are you planning to vote early?
Yes, because now I am inner city, and I know it's going to be long lines. I'm not trying to deal with it at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Did you see that Kemp versus Purdue debate?
How about that, Coy? Is that of any interest to you? Did you get a chance to see it? Okay. So go ahead,
I
Chris.
didn't see it. They had a debate.
They had a debate.
Yeah,
Kemp versus
yeah.
Purdue, and we're not talking enough about white-on-white stupidity in this country.
You're right.
It really is out of control.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my
I'm
God.
Not
Y'all watched
interested.
it?
Well,
No, I just saw clips of it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
no, but the clips have been pretty extensive, Huggy, in terms of this particular debate, and then of course a lot of Black folks are looking to see what happens after this primary is over.
Hell, Kemp didn't know the CDC was down the street from him.
Because everybody's interested in Stacey Abrams, but Chris.
And Purdue
That's what we want.
He's just flat out. He's at the debate, just flat out lying, saying that Donald Trump won the election. I mean,
Yeah.
during a debate, bruh.
Wow.
Yeah. And how do you get away with this? Because the people, the journalists, are they challenging them?
Wow.
Are the people, the residents of the state of Georgia challenging the lies?
So who was the moderator?
Was it an AJC?
I
don't remember who was the sponsor
Really?
or who were the moderators.
But that's
Let's see.
how it is for the GOP. If you're a Republican in Georgia, it's like you go to a buffet and your only choices are horse shit and dog shit.
Yes.
You gotta eat one of them. But those are your two choices.
Okay,
That's
where do
what
I
it is.
start?
I'm not going to this Golden Corral ever again.
Oh my God.
We just want Stacey Abrams.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. If it will be the last governor's campaign and election that we saw between Brian Kemp, who was then Secretary of State, who then pulled all the Black folks off the voting rolls, and the return of Stacey Abrams to challenge him.
What
It'll
about
be interesting.
Hustle Walker?
It was the Channel
That's
2
Senate.
anchor.
What
It
about
was-
Hustle Walker? Is Hustle in there?
The United States
No,
Senate.
please, God.
Bruh, he's not even that articulate.
What you talking about?
That articulate. He
And-
ate all the marbles.
He got subtitles. He got subtitles on the teleprompter.
So, Coy, you were saying who was the moderator?
He's an anchor on Channel 2 here named Justin Farmer. He's one of our
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. And is that the same station that the news anchor that died not too long ago? Was that
Yes,
yeah,
Jovita
okay.
Moore.
Jovita Moore,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would love to have seen her anchor that, huh?
Yes. Oh, she would
Yeah.
have been awesome.
Yeah. Chris, here's the story you want to talk about. These authorities in Alabama are searching for a corrections officer and an inmate charged with murder after they went missing on Friday. Vicky White, assistant director of corrections for Lauderdale County in Alabama, took Casey White, the inmate, from jail Friday, saying she was taking him to the county courthouse.
Not related, by the
They're
way.
not related, according to the officials.
They're not related, but they was having relations.
But they may have been, Huggy. They have not been seen since.
Alabama.
And the U.S. Marshal Service is offering up $10,000 for information.
Is that it?
A warrant, well, this is just for information, I guess, that leads to their arrest, and it'll probably get higher. A warrant for her arrest was issued on charges of permitting or facilitating an escape in the first degree. She said she was taking him for a mental health evaluation. She checked him out of jail. She said she was going to get medical care after dropping the inmate off at the courthouse because she wasn't feeling well. They saw that they drove out and they drove to a parking lot and the car was dumped there, and they have not been seen since.
Now, they said he should be easy to find because he's 6'9" tall.
A 6'9" white man who was wanted for murder, by the way.
So I said, that's an easy guy to find. But then I saw both of them, their pictures.
And
when I saw both of their pictures, I said, they're never going to find him because men know how to hide women that ugly.
And of course,
you are never going to find this guy. If he's with her, you are never going to see them.
This is not the first time we've heard of stories of this type with people in prison and becoming involved, the authorities becoming involved with the prisoners. And it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, Chris, because as you say, whether they're hard to find or not, what their story is a made for lifetime movie right there.
That is so crazy.
Well, who are they going to get to play her?
And some
Benny Hill is dead.
Maybe Ted Cruz. It was some.
Who's the Tiger King guy?
He's about to get married.
In jail.
He found love in jail.
That's right.
He's about to get married in jail. And go talk about a spinoff. Wow.
Man.
So, Chris, you just never know who you're going to meet on the inside.
Bada-boom.
Pull them up on your phone right now. As soon as you see them, you'll know that she's the type of woman that will throw away her whole life.
Yep.
And she's probably married.
To break this dude
and
up.
a whole lot of them be married.
Right.
Yeah.
That's remember the other two convicts that got away?
In upstate New York with
Yeah,
a woman?
she was married.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even want it on my phone. That's
I mean, she came out of Jim Henson's factory.
Oh my God.
It didn't take much work. As Tom used to say, that's easy work on that prisoner's part.
Oh my God.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
No, it didn't even have to be beauty. No, it wasn't beauty. It was just a way of getting out, Coy.
They told her stuff she's never heard in her life.
Right.
Like, hello, how you doing?
Right.
They're looking for them both?
Yes.
She helped them
She
escape, and now she's on the run.
It looks like they're both on the run together if he has not disposed of her after.
Oh, right, true.
He better have sold hella cigarettes and accumulated a lot of money for this to work.
Well, he was counting on her money, probably.
All he had to do was be sweet on her.
She sold cigarettes.
Because here's the thing: the day before, or shortly before they went away, she put in for her retirement. So she was making a way for all of this to progress.
She's a widow.
She's a widow woman. Thank you, Janice Wade on Facebook.
That makes it so much better.
And sold her home last month.
Janice Wade know a whole lot about this.
Janice, can you tell us where Ms. White is?
She's a realtor.
She's staying with her.
Janice is the lady at the window here.
Janice know all the.
Janice, you ain't hearing this from me. But,
okay,
Janice,
where in Alabama are you living, Janice?
How is she gonna get away with retirement money when it hits her account and then she tries to withdraw it? Like, location.
She was blinded by love, Coy. She wasn't thinking about all of this. But if she sold her house, she had probably had a nice little amount right there,
Right,
a
right.
good $6,000-7,000.
And you know, he was slow walking that Sybil. He was slow. And you said she looked like homemade soap, Chris?
And I promise you, he's not going to have sex with her. He's like, I was serving a life sentence, but I went into that long.
He was like, hey, I could have stayed. I could have stayed inside and met something better than this.
He may not have given, but I guarantee you, he was on the receiving end.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Nah, Sybil.
Come on, Huggy. Okay. All right. So that's what we have going on in topical.
I don't even know what that move is right there.
What that mean, Huggy? What that mean? It's now time for us to move to entertainment. And this is just I want to give an RIP, if you will, Huggy, to Naomi Judd.
Oh,
The 78-year-old country music star passed away on Saturday.
Right before she was getting inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And as her daughter said in the social media posting, died as a result of her fight with depression, which she had suffered for years. And so long that she had become a spokesperson in the fight against depression. They said that her husband and her daughter found her body. And it may have not been by natural causes. But
as people, we all know the Judds, because not saying that we listen to country music, but there was that period when everybody watched the award shows because either Michael was going to be on there,
right,
or Prince was going to be on there, or Janet Jackson was going to be on there. And during that whole time, when you go through the country awards, it's always the Judds.
Yep. And the winners
Alabama. And what's the guy? Travis Tritt. Yeah.
Charlie Pride was the only brother.
Yeah, for a very long time.
Every time it's a country award, so they were stars to us just by that.
Yeah, and they were about to be awarded entry into the Hall of Fame, as you mentioned. That was to be the day after. It was the day after her death, and her daughter showed up for it. Both Ashley Judd and Winona Judd, who was the partner of Naomi Judd in the singing duo, they showed up for it. It was very sad, but it was it was very nice that they showed up to get the love and adulation of their country music family. So I want to say so sorry for that. Also, you guys, did we talk about the football that has been signed by the Super Bowl halftime show stars? And that is up for auction. So this is Eminem, Dr. Dre, Mary J, Snoop was one of the signers of it, and Kendrick Lamar.
50 didn't sign. Say 50 signed this upside down.
Right.
No, they were afraid that if he signed it, people would think that was a price tag.
So they said that this is going. They thought maybe it would go for about $1,500. The price now, the current bid is $8,750.
What? Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Okay, and it goes up. The auction concludes on Monday, May 9th. So if you guys want to get your stuff together and bid on this.
No.
Okay. Not so much. Okay.
No, I kind of have a problem with that. Like, it's cool
What's
that you have memorabilia like that, but we hear now more often about how artists aren't really getting paid for their work. They're getting paid from streams, but only a tiny bit. They only get paid from touring. Doing,
Well, here's the other thing, Coy. They don't get paid for the Super Bowl.
See?
No, they don't. They don't get any money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just so maybe they put it up for auction and then split it.
Well, you got a catalog. You got an extensive catalog.
They make a ton of money after the Super Bowl.
Afterwards.
Yeah,
the endorsements, but
oh no, off their catalog. Off their hits and the music that they wrote. Absolutely, we're not gonna hold any telethons or marathons for them. We aren't.
From what I'm hearing, it's not what you think it is. From what I'm starting to hear from several major artists, I'm like, wow.
You think they would have got more money if the Kardashians would have signed the ball?
Depends on the ball.
Sadly, yeah.
Okay.
Take a breath.
and don't think that they haven't thought about that, or at least the momager hasn't thought about it. Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to close out with Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration.
Yeah, we got to cleanse this air.
Yeah. We need a cleansing. We need some
a
sage.
Feng shui, sage. We need a whole
Save us, Yogi.
Yogi's Jewel.
Thank you. Today's daily inspiration from
Brought to
Yogi's
you by-
Jewel. Right? Seek out people who are honest, positive, and kind. Seek out people who are honest, positive, and kind. That bears repeating. And I have just had the great opportunity to spend this last hour with people who are honest, positive, and kind. And funny as all get out.
And my kind.
Thank you guys so much for everything, for the lively art of conversation, for the lightness of your being, and for your presence. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
And I just want to thank all the teachers out there. And I want y'all to come to our show May 26th through the 29th at the DC Improv.
Teachers get in full price.
Bye, everybody.